Alaikum everyone. My name is Muhammad Hassan. Along with me is Miss Mariam Aftab, and we have the two teaching facilitators, Adnan and Bushra, with us. Today, the title of our session is Engaging Learners Using Grammar Practice Activities in Virtual Classrooms. But before that, and before we begin with the different kinds of grammar practice activities, I want to have some questions from you. That would be whether you follow certain teaching practices or you do not follow them in your classrooms. For that, I'll be spinning the wheel, and in the chat box, you can tell me whether you follow that practice or you do not follow that practice at all. So what you have to do is you have to answer me whether yes, 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 or no, along with a brief small reason whether you follow that teaching practice in your grammar classroom or do not. Remember, you have to respond in the chat box. So let's spin it. Okay, make students practice the target grammar in communication. So, how many of you make students practice the target grammar in communication? So, Arshad was saying no, Bina is saying yes, yes, yes. It would be really wonderful if you give me a reason as well. So, I can see a lot of yes, 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 yes. Okay, so most of you do practice the target grammar in communication. First, makes background. Okay, Aisha says yes. Yes, I do because it will help my students to communicate. Yes, so I can read a lot of yes, yes, yes. Okay, somebody said no, I'm not a teacher, so no. Okay, so somebody's not a teacher, but still, that's really good that you're in the session. Yes, 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 students need to know I'm not a teacher. That's okay, Fatma. You can learn. Okay, yes, yes. Okay, so those who are not teachers and they are students, they can tell us how their teacher actually taught them. So they can tell us how they learn about grammar. So let's spin for the second one. Okay, teach grammar in context. So how many of you teach grammar in context, or those who are students, how many of you were taught grammar in context? So Tanya says yes I do, Afsha says yes I do, yes I do, yes I do, I do, yes I do. So most of you actually follow this, so that's really wonderful. Yes, yes, positive sign. Yes, me too. Yes, yes. Okay, so can we spin the next one, because most of them are actually following it. That's really wonderful. Most of you do follow that. Okay, so the wheel is still spinning and it's just stopped at okay, integrate all language skills in your grammar lesson. So how many of you integrate all language skills in your grammar lesson? Okay, not all the times. Yes, I do. So Mazhar does that. Depends. Listening is neglected most of the time. Sometimes, okay, so I can read your wonderful responses. Always the four skills, not all the time. Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes, one of our teacher, yes, I do. Depends, depending on the topic, not every time. Yes. So not all the time. Adil says, not at all. Baba says, and sometime. Okay, so let's spin the next one. So yeah, so I've got some amazing responses. Okay, Bushra says yes. Okay, the next one is where did the wheel stop? Okay, frequent repetition of grammar concept through different speaking drills. So how many of you repeat the grammar through different speaking skills? So Hassan says sometimes. Yeah. Okay, I do. Adnan says yes, I always. Not much. Afsha says sometimes. Shahida says I do. Okay, Sana says yes, I do. Amna says yes, sometimes. So can we spend the next one while I read the responses? Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes, yeah. So I give them time now. I do sometimes, yes, if it's necessary. Lessons with common real life examples. So I begin my grammar lesson by talking about my daily real life examples. How many? Yes, it's very important. I do. It's very helpful. Asim says, Amna says always, me always, I do. Yes. Can we spin the next one because we're getting some quick responses? I do give you context. Always start with brainstorming. Yeah, that's the trick. We begin with the brainstorming. Okay, so yes, I do. Bushra says, Muzaffar says, I do. Okay, so how many of you were taught or you teach grammar in isolation? Okay, Sabah says yes. Aisha says never. Okay, no. Oh, no, no. Yeah, those who are raising their hand, they can write their response in the chat box. Yes, I was teaching. No, no, never, never. So this is something that is coming negatively. Okay, I have done this. Muzaffar has done this. Sana, everybody, the rest of the audience is generally saying it. No, I learned, but not teaching to my career students. Okay, sometimes no. Okay, so the next one is okay, using native language to explain the grammatical concepts. How many of you use Urdu or any other language to teach the grammar rules? Arshad says, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I did. Yes, a lot. Sometimes, okay, no. Okay, I always do that sometimes. So most of you actually follow this practice. Yes, I always do that. The last one, and it's a spinning up to the level of the students. Okay. Okay. Can the main presenter read it because I cannot see it? Yes, up to the level of the students. Yes. Yes. Okay. So, oh, yeah, Asma says yes. Yes, for understanding, I sometimes use even Punjabi. Okay, we can do it for comparison, but we can have negative responses. Okay, so now the main presenter will explain you how these different kinds of grammar practice activities that you try in your language classrooms, how does this can be used. So over to the main presenter.
Okay, so hello everybody. I'm going to be going to move a bit faster because we are really out of time and we have to cover everything. Okay, so we were just having a warm up, and Hassan just asked you a few questions on what kind of implementations you all are doing in your classrooms related to grammar. Okay, so just to sum up that activity and just to sum up that what kind of trends are there in today's world which we are following in our language classrooms, especially about the grammar teaching. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go as I was just looking at your chat. Most of you are usually following that, and everybody has a different perspective. But let's look at the current trends in teaching grammar for now. So we are more into teaching grammar in the context. We are more into integrating grammar skills with our other four language skills, and we are now more into explaining the grammar through the examples and through the activities, and that is going to lead us towards the rules of the grammar. And then we're also trying to inculcate the real life examples, so our students won't think that learning grammar is a myth, but actually we do use the grammar in our real life as well. Okay, and then we are now often into our making our students practice those grammar through activities, and this practice grammar activities is something which is going to be the focal point for today's session. Okay, so for a time being, let's keep the grammar aside, the language learning aside, and activities aside, and just focus on focus on the practice for now. Okay, now and just to try to realize that what is the role of practice in our life. Okay, because we do always claim that practice is something which is necessary for our success, right? So kindly mute the mics, those who have their mics unmute, to spoil any interruption. Okay, so the task is that we're going to watch some videos together. There are two videos, a very short video. I'm going to play it for them. I want you to look at those video, and then I want you to just analyze that video in terms of what kind of role is there in our lives to make something perfect through the practice. Okay, so let's quickly watch the videos, and then I'm going to come back to you.
I had this notion, God knows why, that poaching eggs would be simple. But I was deeply wrong.
Gently push the white over the yolk with a wooden spoon for 2 to 3 seconds. Immediately.
Ew. Disgusting. It took 3 of us crammed into the kitchen over a pot of simmering water, but eventually, we nailed it.
Hello.
Welcome.
How cute is that?
And I ate my very first egg of my whole life, ever.
I thought eggs were going to be greasy and slimy, but it tastes like cheese sauce. Yum.
This is by Amir Fathi. He says, I'm a violinist and I have sometimes a little problem of accuracy. What is your advice about that? Do you have absolute pitch, and is that necessary for being a grand soloist? Thank you. Well, I don't think that having perfect pitch is necessary to being a grand soloist. It's not. It's helpful on some level, but it's not totally necessary. As far as your problem with accuracy, I would say that repetition is very, very important, because what you want to do is you want to remember the distance between one place on the fingerboard and another. And if something is not accurate, just keep repeating it, but you've got to do it slowly. Just remember, and everybody that listens to me here should remember, I always say practice slowly, and the reason that I say practice slowly is that there's a rule. If you learn something slowly, you forget it slowly. In other words, you don't forget it very quickly. If you learn something very quickly, you forget it immediately also, because the brain has to have time to absorb. So the slower we do it, the better it is. So I hope that that's helpful. And as far as your accuracy, just repetition over and over again, but try to do it in very small increments. Do it 1 bar at a time, 2 bars at a time. Okay? Good. Now, the next question, that's interesting one. This is from Eric Angus Jeffords. Do you believe there is such a thing as over practicing? Absolutely. It's definitely, for me, if you are a very, very serious musician, specifically for the violin, I would say 5 hours is the max when you're really serious, and some people want to do more, but after that, it's not helpful anymore. I may have answered this question before, but I think it bears re-answering because it's so important. Because some people say, if I practice more, it'll be better. Not necessarily. You have to think of what you're practicing for. But 5 hours physically is the limit, and each hour should not be a full hour. It should be a 50-minute hour with 10 minutes of rest. If you're going to do, let's say, 3 hours in a row. So don't do 3 hours in a row. Just do 50 minutes, 10 minutes rest, 50 minutes, 10 minutes rest, etc. Okay?
Okay, so these were the 2 videos that I wanted you to see. Now I am quickly going towards the questions. Okay, so I'm going to place 3 questions over here for you, and I want you to give me your feedback based on what you have just watched. Okay, it was exact views on the practices, that what kind of views and suggestions he was giving. And then we have one real life example over here, in which there was a girl who was practicing on the poaching eggs. Okay, so here are the 3 questions for you now. You can tell me that what did you learn from this particular videos about the role of practice, that what kind of practice do we follow, and what kind of practices does really support the learning process. Okay, and which practice would you call the perfect practice? Okay, so I'm going to go on the chat and let's see that. Okay, so we have some opinions about practicing slowly but regularly with breaks. Okay, no, it's Amber. If I'm saying, yeah, that's right, it's to perfection. But what kind of? Do you think that all practices which we're doing in our life is leading us to the perfection, or okay? So
So the
somebody's saying about the slow practice, right? So I want you to go into more detail. That what are you saying? That when you're saying slow practice, what does it mean? What does it mean, slow practice? Okay, the messages are quickly going up. So I did get a very good response up, but yeah. Okay, the continuous practice. Okay, did you notice what Itzhak was saying about the over practicing? What is that over practicing? What do you think this construct of over practicing is? Okay, limited time, self-assessment, slower. Okay. Okay, do you think that if we make our students practice rigorously, will it be like overburdening their mind? So do you think that the regular practices or the over practicing can overburden the mind? Do you agree with that? Okay, yes, all right, all right. So Ikhra is
okay.
negating. Okay, okay. Okay, so yes, we're getting a lot of feedback. So we're just going to quickly move on towards to just summarize this discussion so that we can move on towards the more important aspect of our session. So let's just summarize the videos and our discussion on the role of practice in our lives. Okay, so see, we all know, as I was seeing the comments as well, that we know that practice is making people perfect. Okay, unless we don't practice, we cannot achieve the perfection. We need to practice. But the big question over here is that, and the thought to be pondering over, is that not all practices are leading towards the perfection. Okay, we can't do that. We don't know. Like, for example, if we take the example of cricket, a sport, if somebody is a footballer and if he keeps practicing about the cricket or the hockey, then it's not something which is going to lead that person into the perfection. Okay, so not all kind of practices are leading to perfection. There is the practice which is the right practice and at the right time. Okay, and that right practice at the right time can make you improve your performance and can lead towards the success. Okay, now keeping these discussions in mind about the role of practice, now we are going to move on towards exploring the type of grammar practice activities by actually doing them. Okay, now I can expect it, since many of you are from the English language background and you are the ELT teacher, so you must be already aware of that. Okay, we have 3 types of practices of grammar, and it might be new construct for few of you, or it might be the old construct. So we are going to explore that by actually doing them. So I'm not going to directly introduce you to the type of activities. We are going to do something in practice right now, some activities, and then I'm going to ask you that you tell me that what do you think, that what kind of activity is it. Okay, so let's begin, and let's begin with our first activity. And again, I'm telling you that by experiencing these activities, we are going to go towards that what type of activities, how can you explain that to us. Okay, so let's do these activities and then we can move on towards that what kind of. Okay, so let's begin. So I'm going to play a song to you, okay? And you can sing along if you want by keeping your mic mute. You can make the others listen at your home or whatever places you are. And then I want you to write down as many sentences as you can, but from the song which I'm playing, okay? Do not make your own sentences. Listen to the song, and then I want you to write down sentences which are already there in the song, and by using the prepositions, okay? And by listening, you can note it down, and you can mention it in the chat box as well, okay? So let's begin our okay. Just give me a minute. Okay. I hope everybody's ready. Okay.
Above, below, in front of, behind. Above, below, in front of, behind. Keep on listening to the rhyme about above, below, in front of, behind. Now the bat is above the cat, just like the cat is below the bat. And the rat is now in front of the cat, just like the cat is behind the rat. Let's sing that one more time, but this time you sing with me. Now the bat is above the cat, just like the cat is below the bat. And the rat is now in front of the cat, just like the cat is behind the rat. Inside, outside, beside, between. Inside, outside, beside, between. Keep on listening, you'll know what I mean. Inside, outside, beside, between. Now the rocks are inside the box. Now the rocks are outside the box. And the box is beside the blocks. Now the box is between the blocks.
Okay, so I am just breaking it in between because as I mentioned earlier that we are really out of time, okay? So we just did one of our activity and we are going to quickly, and I just want you to keep noticing that what we are actually doing over here, okay? Because I'm going to ask you to explain me that what type do you think these activities are, okay? So now we are moving towards another activity, and this time it's disappearing sentences, okay? So again, I'm going to play a video for you and I want you to watch it like really carefully. Okay, because this time, and you are going to remember the positions of all the nouns which keeps mentioning in the video. Okay, so we are just watching the video now and we are trying to remember the positions which are being described in the nouns, that where are those nouns. Okay, so I hope that you remember that, and best of luck for that. So let me just quickly play it. Just give me a minute.
Welcome to Let's Learn About Prepositions Through Conversation.
Okay, so eyes on the video now, okay? Very quickly.
Where's the car?
The car is in front of the garage. Now the car is in the garage.
Where is the basketball net?
The basketball net is above the garage.
Where is the garage?
The garage is below the basketball net.
Where is the fence?
The fence is behind the house.
Where is the barbecue?
The barbecue is between the house and the swing.
Where is the swing?
The swing is next to the barbecue.
Where is the little girl?
The little girl is on the swing. Look, a pigeon is flying over the house toward the swing.
Where's the pigeon?
The pigeon is on top of the swing.
Where's the cat?
The cat is under the swing.
Where's the little boy?
The little boy is near the little girl.
Where's the little girl's mother?
She's on the driveway. She is far from the little girl. Look, the pigeon is flying away from the swing.
What is the pigeon doing now?
It is flying around the house.
Where's the pigeon?
It is sitting among the flowers. Now it is flying past the house.
Okay, so again, I am going to stop it in between. And if you remember, I asked you to remember the positions really carefully. Okay, so now let's test what you have just watched. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you a few questions about the video, and I hope that you remember that. Okay, because I did ask you to remember the positions of all the nouns which are mentioned in the video. Okay, so do you remember that the two positions of the car? Anybody who remember the two positions of the car? So let's see who remember.
Tanya says in front, and in front, outside, in garage, in front of the garage.
Okay, let's move on and see that if you have answered correctly.
In
okay,
front
so
or outside. So
garage, and it was in the garage.
Front
Let's
of
look
garage. In the garage.
Okay, so yes, location of the garage. Where do you remember? Somebody remember the location of the garage? Where was it? Please.
Yes, it was below the basketball. That.
I would request you to mute yourself and comment in the chat so that we can avoid, you know, the. Okay, so I am getting the responses. Let's see how many of you are correct. Okay, so the garage was below the basketball net as it was mentioned in the video. Okay, remember that we are focusing the video over here. Okay, so now anybody remember the place of the swing? Okay, so let's very quickly go towards that and let's see how many of you were correct. So it was next to the barbecue. Okay, okay, so can anybody remember the two resting places of the pigeon? Two resting places of the pigeon. Two resting places of the pigeon. Let's see. Okay, so let's see the answer to that. So the one was on the swing and the other one was among the flowers. Okay, yes, anybody remember the place of barbecue? So who remembers the place of the barbecue? Okay, so we are okay, so the place of the barbecue is between the house and the swing. Okay, and the last one, what was the place of the fence? What was the place of the fence as mentioned in the video? What was the place of the fence as mentioned in the video as explained in the video. Okay, so let's check how many of you are correct. And we have, it was behind the house. Okay, now let's move on, and we just practice the two activities. Now these two activities are the examples of the controlled practice activities. Now you have just experienced these two activities. Now can you quickly tell me that what do you think, what is the controlled practice? I have also given you the visual over here of a boy who is holding the remote in his hand, and he's operating the plane over here. So any idea, what do you think is the practice, controlled practice activities in grammar? What do we do in such activities when we are calling it a controlled practice activities? They are planned ones, Femida is saying. Okay. When it is guided by the teacher, okay. Teacher plays a role, okay. So answers are planned, okay. Okay. So I think you are getting over here. So I'm just going to give you, I think that few of you have done it correctly. But in other words, so what we are doing in the control grammar activities is that we are controlling it. Okay, like you see that if the boy has a remote, then it means that whatever the boy is doing, the plane is completely following. Okay, it cannot go on its own. So this is what we're doing in the controlled practice activity, that the teacher is having the full control. Okay, the teacher is the one who is providing you with all the content. What I did over here is that I gave you all the content of the prepositions, right? I give you the prepositions, I give you the context, and what I just ask you to do, I just ask you to do the repetition, do the drilling. Okay, so my aim over here is that I want you to work on your accuracy. I want you to work on the form of the grammar so that you can understand that. Okay, by simply giving you the content as it is. Okay, so this is what we are doing in the control practice, that we are asking our students to repeat the content. We are asking them to drill the content by listening to us, or by drilling what we are providing them, so that the students can work on the accuracy of their grammatical concepts. Okay, moving on quickly towards the next activity. Now this is the next activity type. Okay, so let's quickly do it. Now this is something which is challenging yourself. So I am going to challenge you, and the rule is that you have to be honest, right? So I know that many of you are sitting on your laptops, you cannot move around. So this is a challenge. So I'm going to ask you, there are some rules. I'm going to ask you to I'm going to present some action to you, and then those who think that they can do it, they will raise their hands, and or they can say in the chat that I can. Okay, and then you are going to have this 30 seconds to quickly do that action, and then write that action, that what you are doing, in the chat by using the structure of present continuous and by using the preposition. For example, I ask you to, let's suppose, hide in the wardrobe. So not everybody of you can hide it. You people are not even at your homes. For some people, so those who think they can hide in the wardrobes, they can hide, and then they can tell me that I am now hiding inside the wardrobe. Okay, and then you are supposed to keep the counts of the challenges. We are going to have the 3 challenges over here because it's short of time. So you will tell me in the end that how many of you are able to attempt all 3, how many of you are able to attempt only 2 or 1. Okay, so I hope everybody is ready, because I'm going to be going a bit faster now. Okay, so the first challenge is, can you sit under something? So let's see how many of you can sit under something. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so yes, so we are having the the responses of yes. So I am going to give you, you are going to have, Murtaza has raised a hand as well, so you have the 30 seconds to do this thing, challenge, and then let me know by writing a complete sentence in the chat box that I am now sitting under whatever you're sitting. Okay, so you have 30 seconds. Come on, let's see how many of you are able to do this. Oh, Adnan is saying that I'm sitting under the roof. Adnan is so fast. Look at that. Okay, Abir is saying that I'm sitting under the coffee table. Wow. Smart. I'm now sitting under the chair. Really, Shazeen, how are you sitting under the chair? Is your chair big enough? Okay. Okay. Smart. Smart. Okay. And we have the times up. Okay. So keep counting on the challenges. All right. So we have one more challenge, and this is that can you stand on any object? If you can, then you have 30 seconds to do this thing and mention in the chat box that you are standing on something. Okay, so let me just quickly go to the chat and let's see that under my fan. Oh, so smart. I'm standing on my chair. Okay, I hope that you people are careful. You can get down if you're actually standing on the chair. Okay, okay. Smart. On a cot. Okay. Okay, let's quickly move on towards our next challenge and the next last challenge, which is that can you stand between two people or objects? Can you do that? Do you have two people available nearby, or do you have two objects nearby you and you can do that? So Asha is so smart that I'm standing on my foot. Okay. So yes, quick. Okay. Okay, so we are about to finish our last. Okay, now we are done. Now, can you quickly respond and let me know that how many were able to attempt all three attempts, challenges? Who are the ones who are able to attempt all three challenges? Okay. Okay, so, okay. Good. Impressive. Okay, let's quickly move on towards, okay. We can also have quiz, but since we are so short of time that I have to quickly skip it, I'm going to explain you that what you can do in the quiz. You can, I wish I could have more time to work on this and we could have done this, but since we are really out of time, Melissa is raising the hand. So Melissa, can you please mention in the chat box what you are trying to ask? Okay, so we just witnessed and we just experience here the guided practice activities right now. Okay, so I have also again given you a visual over here so that you can understand. So anybody has any idea that what kind of activities do we call guided practice activities? What do you think? That what are guided practice activities? Okay, so Baba is saying that it's a team practice. It's a drilling in which the teacher guides us. Okay, the teacher plays the key role. Activities having instructions. Okay, controlled by the teacher. Now over here, if you notice the picture over here, that what is happening is that we are let's suppose that I am the one who's standing in the very first in the queue. Okay, so I'm basically guiding my students towards coming near me. Okay. But at the same time, what is happening is that they are following my pathway, but at the same time, they need to be very careful that they won't be they cannot fall down, right? So they have to be careful. So they are following my directions, but they are having their own input over here as well. Okay, so this is what we're doing in the guided practice, is that that we are giving them the instructions, but over here they have a little bit of freedom with the input of personalizing the language in their own, as we did over here. So I give you one proposition, I give you the direction, but I didn't ask you to stand on the table, or I didn't ask you to stand under the roof. Okay, this is your choice. So you did personalize the language to bit extent. Okay, you did add your input a little bit. Okay, so in the guided one, the teacher just give a little bit of flexibility to the students so that they can add their input in their grammar learning. Okay, so with that, we have the free practice activity. And now, since I only have 5 minutes left, and we have to open the floor for the questions as well, and for the survey form as well. So I am not going to complete this activity. I can just show you that what we are going to do over here. Okay, so in this type, what I have asked you to do is, what I plan to do is that I want you to make you the customer for the interior designer. Let's suppose I am the interior designer and I ask you to design your own bedroom. I show you the pictures and I ask you to give me the modifications over here, that where do you want to put certain objects. Like you ask me that please put the LED right in front, the chest drawer and behind something. Okay, so now these type of things, when I am completely giving you the liberty, completely giving you the freedom to use the language in your own way, okay, these kind of activities are called the free practice activities, in which we are giving the full freedom to our students on using what we have taught them. Okay, and in these activities we need to give a complete and maximum opportunities to our students to personalize their language in terms of what we have taught them in our guided and controlled practice. Okay, so with that, we come to an end to our very quick session. I wish we could have more time. So in the end, just when you are planning your grammar lessons, the sequence of your activities should be that you first introduce the controlled activities, then you move on towards the guided one, and then you proceed towards the free grammar practice activities. Okay, and for your convenience, we are going to share the reading material in which we have the activities for you, which you can read and you can imply them in your classrooms of these three types of activities. Okay, now I am keeping the floor open for any questions, and in the meanwhile, our team is going to share the survey form for you, and you are requested to fill that. The people who have to ask any questions, they can please ask the questions, and you can, on the same time, you can complete the survey form for us.
Okay. So I noted one question from Rimsha in the beginning. That was, what about our innate abilities?
I'm sorry. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes. Sorry. Yes. What was the question?
Rimsha basically asked that, what about our innate abilities?
Whose innate abilities? The students?
Yeah, maybe the students, because she just write, what about our innate abilities? Maybe the teacher or maybe the student.
Actually, I didn't get the question. So if Rimsha is here somewhere, so please ask me that in which, innate ability is something which is natural, right? So I want to ask that what, oh, thank you. My former principal is over here. So thank you, Ms. Beda, for attending the session and appreciating me. Rimsha, I request you to ask the question again, because innate, I don't know that how can we link the innate ability with our practice over here. Okay, so what?
Okay, also, if the participants have any other question, they can ask us as well. We have already shared the survey link. So if you have any questions, we can answer that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my chat box is keep hanging, so I cannot view the messages properly. Yes, see, the grammar, that is something, the Chomsky theory is that they are learning the grammar as it is. Okay, so we're not going into that detail of what Chomsky has said. Obviously, that he is the modern linguist, and the point over here is only that when we are making students practice any grammatical concept, okay, they cannot, when we talk about the second language learning, we need some practice activities with us. Okay, no matter, see, they do learn it in the context or something sometimes come naturally as well, but we have to give them some input from ourselves as a teacher, as a language teacher. Okay, so in that, yes, Saima, we follow the same. See, you can always bring the level higher according to your students, level. If they are from the beginner level, if they are from the intermediate, from the B2 level, C1 level, okay, you can always come up with these things. See, if you think that your students at the advanced level, so you can directly go to the free grammar. If they are at the B2 or C1 level of English language, then they don't need the practice. But when we talk about the local, settings of what we are facing as English language teachers in our language classroom practice, we need these things, okay? Especially with our school level students, because they do not have that much, exposure to use that. Okay, so you can always get the flexibility in your activities and in your practice tasks according to the level of your students. Those are done with the survey. Thank you very much. Our time is done. So thank you very much for your time and participation. It's lovely to have you all. Thank you from my side. Now